There's a few key factors, and I think one of them is the split test. Going through that, launching 3 of the exact same ad, but the key part of that is you're finding a total different audience, right? You're coming in, you launch 3 ads, and it's going out there into the world, and you're going to see a unique cost per click, cost per lead, cost per email from all 3 ads.
So we are live on Facebook. I'm so excited for this one, guys. Everyone, welcome to this amazing StreetText webinar where I get to host these special people very dear to me. And it's all about success. It's all about mindset. And I want to welcome all of you guys here. So please tell us city and state you're from, first of all. And then second, I want to introduce other hosts. They're the ones who always say you could welcome yourself in. But I want to take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you. Josh, a dear friend of mine who is amazing at what he does. I learned so much from him. I grew my business totally with him, and I love how he is such a giving person. So guys, if you're here, this is the man to learn from. And then of course, my favorite peeps from StreetText, Brandon and Ira, welcome. You guys are amazing. And everyone, posting in the chat box, you guys are from Orange County, Princeton. Come on, let's roll it in, people. Let's tell the city and state you're from. We'd love to have you, participate as well. So with all that energy, I wanna welcome again, Josh, Brandon, and Ira. Josh, tell us a little bit about what this is about and how you could really help us, some tips you could give us to the success stardom that you've had.
Sure. So first of all, I want to let everybody know where I am at. So you can send me your referrals. Not that we get a lot of people relocating to the bustling metropolis of central Pennsylvania, but so I work and serve in Harrisburg, PA area, Harrisburg, Mechanicsburg. And because we're rural and I don't have to deal with traffic, I pretty much serve a 4-county area of Dauphin, Cumberland, Perry, and York County. I started using StreetText in the spring of this year. I had seen their ads forever. And I mean, just ignored them. Like, whatever. They're just another one of those, whatever. And as I have grown my personal production and I have an organization that I'm growing and leading, I am constantly looking for better ways to leverage my time through people and technology. So I don't know what finally pushed me over the edge. It was probably a video on YouTube or something. Finally got me to, take the plunge and get a free trial with StreetText. And it took me literally, I don't know. It was probably the very first campaign I created. I was like, this is amazing. This is so easy. And I'm someone that has, I've been using Facebook ads since they very first released the ability where they were only right column ads. I mean, we're talking about ancient times here. Like 2007 or 8, you could only get a column on the right, or an ad on the right column, which they don't even have. Like the layout of Facebook doesn't even really look like that anymore. So I've used it for years and years and years. The platform, though, has continually gotten more complicated and confusing and difficult to launch campaigns. So I tried it out. I immediately fell in love with it. I've been talking about it ever since and recommending people use it ever since. I've created all different kind of campaigns for it. I use a property listing V1 campaign for every one of my listings. I use the buyer, I call them buyer lead on demand campaigns, but the buyer campaigns, which I know you, Janki, are having tremendous success with. I use those campaigns, and then the seller campaigns, which honestly, that was the reason why I got the trial. In hindsight now, that was really what got me to do the trial, was just looking for more ways to get more sellers. With how hot and crazy the market was, right. I was looking for any ways I could to get into conversation with potential sellers. So I've been using it since then. I recommend it. So many people in my organization use it, and people in my community, subscribers, etc., people that watch the live stuff I do. I just have a lot of people using it and loving it. And the ROI, pretty crazy. We can get into some examples of
I know.
ROI, but it's phenomenal
It's
if you'll just
mind-blowing.
use it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
so
totally.
mind-blowing to, like, I never thought this is where I'm going to be. But Brandon, Ira, jump in, talk to us a little bit about StreetText. Tell us what the platform is all about, so we can kind of let our audiences know, more about StreetText. And if we can just post a 7-day free trial, Jake, a link up there, that would be awesome. So people can kind of see how the success has really led Josh and myself to be to be at this position that we are in our business as well, where I've also started my conversion classes and my ISA classes, train your ISAs with Jonky classes, all of that. But StreetText, talk to us, Brandon, Ira.
Yeah, the key is we like to call the Facebook Ads Manager the labyrinth of frustration and confusion.
Yes.
And one of the most valuable assets that you're going to own is your time. And I mean, thinking ahead about what the next year is going to look like and how you're going to double your business, it means that you need to spend time working on your business instead of in your business. So like the amount of time you can spend trying to launch the simple ads that we have, that time is better used elsewhere. Our business is all about relationship and follow-up. So, we like to say taking on social media is kind of like trying to eat an elephant. It's a huge task. And most of us either just dibble dabble in it, we do a little bit here and there, but we don't even know where to start. So a lot of people, what they need to help with is what you guys offer, like Josh and Janky, as people who are leaders in their field, who are saying, this is my consistent follow-up process. This is how I understand ROI. This is how I understand this business. And I know that putting in the effort now and following up consistently is going to double my business next year. And it's those mindsets that you need to be spending your time on. So simply what we do is like already built ad templates that are ready to go. Within 30 seconds, you can launch a split test. You can understand how Facebook pulls audiences, and you can have an ad that's working so that you can shift from trying to get an ad and figuring out what Facebook did with the button this week to putting a follow-up process in place and focusing on your mindsets and your teams to grow your businesses. You should not be spending inordinate amounts of time on that manager at Facebook Ads Manager.
I know, and I totally agree with you. I don't spend any time. Josh, do you spend any time on changing the Facebook ads, or doing the trial, like doing the split test and all of that? I don't. I leave it.
I'm a little bit more of a tinkerer, so I do play around stuff because I like to be able to, A, it's just my nature, and B, I like to play around and tweak things, and so I can share with my group and my organization. That said, it's infinitely easier with this platform than how I used to have to do it. And there's plenty that I don't ever do anything with. So for example, the listing, anytime I have a listing, we've got a very defined process that we launch a listing with using, again, it's the property listing V1. I think that's the right thing, Ira, right? That's the name that you go into StreetText, you click on the ads tab on the left-hand side, it brings up all the different templates. You choose property listing V1, and we we've got a defined process that we use with that, and that's one where we just literally fill in the blanks, upload an image, and bang, that thing is rocking and rolling. And that's one that in a world where we're kind of always wanting immediate feedback and immediate results. Like anytime I launch one of those, I generally am generating leads like within the hour of them going live. They'll start flying in, and those are people that then we can follow up with to let them know about whether it's the open house we have this weekend, or about scheduling a private tour, or if we have a virtual tour, whatever it is. It's creating conversations with people that are either curious because they're a nosy neighbor and might want to list their property, or in market looking to buy, right? So I don't know how we got down that path. Oh, tinkering. So I probably do tinker more than you do, maybe. But there's more than one way to do it, right? And your skill sets and your strengths are different than mine. So, it's a matter of fitting it to what makes sense for you and your business. And I know, like, you're talking about things that I need to get to. Director of ops.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I need to start calling my guy. My guy, Mike, he's going to be I'm just going to start referring to him as my director of ops, because
So my
he
director,
needs a better title.
my director of ops is completely, she is just running the team. I've got about 13
Yeah.
VAs, but she's just running the team. And then we just got another assistant director of ops because it was too overwhelming for her. But Brandon, talk to us a little bit about more of the ad side of StreetText, right? What is it that you do to help us? Because I mean, you are a tremendous help to all these street texters out there.
Easy for you to say.
I can, it's so easy to type it, but when it comes to saying it,
Yeah. There's a few things, there's a few key factors, and I think one of them is the split test. Going through that, launching 3 of the exact same ad, but the key part of that is you're finding a total different audience, right?
Right.
You're coming in, you launch 3 ads, and it's going out there into the world, and you're going to see a unique cost per click, cost per lead, cost per email from all 3 ads. And you're very quickly going to see, okay, this one performed, this one got me more emails, more phone numbers, compared to this ad that didn't come in and receive a single lead. Well, when you do that split test, you're going to see the difference in that, and you're going to be able to move forward using that ad that people clicked, left information on, because what Facebook's going to continue to do is look for more people like that left full contact information, and they're going to find what they have in common. And the other thing is our community. You have a ton of community that you can agree that everyone has a collaborative mind and wants to help each other out. So they're sharing in our insider group, hey, this is the ad I'm running. This is the image I'm using. I'm getting great results. Let's try and do something together and bring that forward. So we're always bringing up new ideas to put into funnels and to use for imagery. And I think it's just the collaboration and also the doing that split test on finding that audience. I think those are 2 keys on getting really good ad performance.
Exactly.
Can I add some follow-ups to that? Because I think there are 2 incredible points there. Number one, I have been, I don't want to say pleasantly surprised. I would say more blown away by the value that the StreetText insider group and community is willing to share with one another. A, and B, the other thing that has really blown me away is Ira and Brandon and the StreetText team. There are a great number of companies and people in our industry that just are trying to get into our pockets, right? And really, they just view us as a great audience, as an audience or a community willing to spend money, right? We get big commission checks, and we're willing to try all kinds of things. And I have been just so blown away by the care and the support and help, again, from the community and especially from the StreetText coaches and founders and so forth. And I'm sure the community takes after you guys, right? Like, you guys are setting a great example of really caring about the real estate community. And so the community that you're building of StreetText users is just taking on that role. So kudos to you guys for that. And then that was one aspect, but you mentioned the split testing. That's an example of I didn't even fully understand that fact that each one of these campaigns you launch is going to kind of find its own little honey hole of audience within that. So there's a huge lesson there, but how easy it is to do that compared to trying to replicate that on your own. Like, it's literally, you click the up arrow twice and hit deploy versus having to try and do all this other stuff. I mean, it's phenomenal.
So StreetText leverages us, Josh, right? Completely. It's a leverage tool. You just press and go type of thing. It's all ready for you. But I want to kind of talk a little bit about what you just said. And this is what I love about StreetText is the leadership team is amazing. I mean, it's all about coming from contribution to help. our community, our StreetText community. There's no one that is out there on our StreetText Insider group that is not really there to teach, to help, to motivate mindset. It's all about coming from contribution. So that in itself, the platform in itself, is something different than what the community is all about. And I love that, because everyone is willing to contribute. And like we talked about, you went 17 X on your ROI in your business itself after using StreetText. Tell us what steps you took in order to, of course we have the follow-ups and we have the conversions, but are you just focused on the CRM with StreetText that they've built out, obviously, or are you using also another platform to transfer zapping your leads? How does that look like?
Yeah, so we do zap our leads into KV Core. I'm with EXP, we get KV Core. And so I think it's amazing the functionality of the CRM that StreetText offers. And if I didn't have KV Core, I would use more of that functionality. And I think it's wonderful for those of you listening that don't have a KV Core or a CRM that you love. Like, you don't have to figure that part out. You can absolutely leverage what they've got native. It's just
Right.
For me, with KV Core, I can do some different things. So for example, my follow-up campaigns, depending on the type of lead, will include ringless voicemails. They'll include text messages, email messages, video text, video email. And we even, for our seller leads, we set up KV Core with another third party where we automatically send them direct mail. So that's what I personally do. But if you don't have that, like, don't let that keep you from getting started,
Right.
because what you've got native to their platform is all you need to start getting
Started.
it's all you need to get started. That's all you need to get started.
And that's what I wanted to kind of put in play here, is that it's not just getting leads. It's not just a free trial. It's a whole system that they've built out, right, Ira? I saw some follow-up process that you put together yesterday, and it was uploaded, in StreetText Insider Group in our community. It's their CRM that they've built out completely. So it's not just you getting the leads. I mean, the leads zap into their own CRM. And then if you want to take it further, you can also, like you said, you have KV Core. I'm with EXP as well, but now I don't use KV Core at a high level. I use Chime at a high level. You could just use, StreetText CRM for that. Tell us a little bit about that part, Brandon or Ira.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and we're talking about doubling your business coming in the new year, is Facebook ads that are done well are not about branding. A lot of people get really confused between like branding, putting their Facebook ad out there, and creating value and generating conversation. Our Facebook ads are based around, hey, if this is the information you're looking for, I'm excited to deliver it to you. Hey, what's the value of your home? Hey, what types of homes are you looking for in this area? Hey, I know Josh has tweaked some of our ads and made them custom on cash offers because it's something that he offers. So it's like, here's the value. Once you put value out there into Facebook, now comes the opportunity. I mean, you want to prove to people and earn people's business by building relationship. How does that work? Well, you need to listen to people. So one of the keys Josh said there, I have a different follow-up process for each of my leads coming in. Like, if I clicked on an ad that's asking for like the 12 tips to sell your home, I need to make sure I follow up on what they asked for and not jump into, hey, I'm standing on your front door right now, ready to list your home. Because, you're going to not earn people's trust that way. So, I mean, the process is, and everybody in our community brings something new to the table. So you can go in and you can edit those emails, you can edit those text messages. And when you come to a mastermind, you hear from Janky, you hear from Josh and Wendy and Jennifer and all these people that share. It's about taking one of those things and putting it into your automations. We always say the best CRM is the CRM that you use.
Yes.
So if you're like Josh and you're really proficient with the CRM that you're using, there's no sense in making time to learn a new one. Use the one you're using. Or if you're like starting out and you're looking to scale your business, I mean, there's a lot of people in our community that are thankful to Janky just explaining, like, you can do ISAs, you can scale, here's the next step. Then learn to do that next step. But if you're new, You want to keep a base amount of basic products and basic things that you master. And as you invest and make some back, you pour it back in and grow your business. That's how we double. That's the thing. So there's a functionality in our dashboard to be able to start right from there, or the functionality to grow with you if you're using other CRMs and things like that.
And here's another thing also, right, Josh, you will agree with me, is that StreetText is always there to help the staff. Like support is always there in the back end too. If you just email support, they're always there. There's some very vital links right there, you guys, to our audiences out there, to our listeners. You know, there's specific links. See, I put my radio thing on. Oh, okay. To everyone that's here, the links are all up there. I would love for you guys to click on those links and, you know, actually connect with someone here from StreetText. So this way you will get one-on-one attention to really staying focused. And if you do have to go, our YouTube link is right there. You can, you know, subscribe right there as well through with Facebook, with Lab Code Agents, as well as get this a recorded webinar that we're doing. Josh, what else is going on in the motion of your success right now with StreetText? What else?
Well, I mean, I think, well, my thought goes to having the right mindset for success with the platform, because though there are, you know, if you go into the insider group, and I can even give you cases within my organization of people on trial that very quickly put together a transaction. In fact, I actually listed one of the very first address only leads that came through on my trial. I actually listed that property, but the listing happened like 8 or 10 weeks after they came in, and there was conversation and so forth. So even though it was a quick win, it still took a while. And in fact, it probably took, I don't know, 12 or 16 weeks until I actually was paid off of that. So having the right mindset about understanding what the platform is and what it will do for you, which is, it's a tool to build your database, to build your sphere of influence, to build your you know, your opportunity in the market, right? Like your reach in the market, and understanding that you've got to play the long game, right? You can't make any assumptions after a week, a month, even a quarter. You have, if you keep doing the right things. Like I'm a huge sports guy. I've been coaching for years. I coach my kids' youth sports, and I love sports analogies. And if you listen to all of the very best coaches of all time, especially football coaches, they always talk about process over result. If you do the process, if you do your job and you do it consistently enough, the results will take care of themselves.
Yep.
Right. And so when you do that here, and you look over a long haul, and I'll give a very specific example. This is before I started using StreetText, but it's I think it's an important illustration. This was last year. So 2020, I reactivated my license, and that's another story for another day. I hadn't been actively selling. I had been coaching and creating programs and training for real estate agents. Reactivated my license in 2020, and I launched some ad campaigns in the winter and spring of 2020. And because I am like most entrepreneurs, little ADD, I stopped running this one campaign. Well, when I did my year-end review, for 2020, looking at, okay, these were my closed transactions and this is where they came from, I realized that I had 7 or 8 that had come from this one campaign that I had spent like $900 on. And it turned into like 7 or 8 for me, my average, let's say like conservatively, that $900 turned into like 30,000 in GCI. Like, it's impossible to do that.
It's simple math.
Yeah. So it made me realize how much of an idiot I was for stopping running that campaign. But, you know, I also wouldn't have realized that if I hadn't looked over a longer term, right? We too often make decisions with not enough data to make a decision. Whereas between the insider group and your coach, you can be confident knowing that you're going to implement best practices. And if you do that long enough, even if you're really bad at it, you can get great results. Like even if you like there are examples in the insider group that literally all they do is like like they don't edit their automations or anything, and they
Yes.
still get great results,
Maybe,
right? So yeah,
I
if you just do the right things long enough.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is great. And that was such an aha moment for you. And that was a pivotal moment for you in your business to say, all right, this is what I really am going to do. And I know we have a few questions, which I'm sure, our Brandon or Ira will answer to them. One of the questions is that, will we be showing sample ads that have great performances, or will this just be explaining the platform? And then how does Josh work address only leads? So of course there's a system for that, but please, Josh, tell us a little bit about how you work address only. And then of course, Ira or Brandon, talk to us a little bit about sample ads.
So how I'm addressing address only leads has evolved versus like how I first was doing it to now. Right now, what I will generally send address only leads is a postcard or a note card using a platform called thanks.io. And I'll generally reference the fact that they had requested a free home valuation, and I'll send them a link back to where they can complete that. So we can send them, full information. I do also, so that's the first piece of mail they get, but I do continue to send them different offers. Like I have some unique value propositions, cash offer type of unique value propositions, and so forth. Because, even if that's the only data point I have from them, I'm still going to use that data point, because there was a reason why they took the time to enter their address. They may have just gotten spooked, or didn't want me in their inbox, or their text, their email inbox or their text inbox. But they are likely going, if they were interested, there was a reason why they were interested, and they're likely going to do something in the next 3, 6, 12, 18 months. And
right.
I want to be the person they choose to do business with whenever that happens.
Right. So Brandon, Ira, are you guys going to show us a little bit of sample ads? I know Joanne had asked about that. And then Josh, what's the website again for the thank you cards?
Is it okay if can I post that in the chat here?
Yeah, that would be great.
I can send, it's growwithjosh.com/thanks. And it's a, in the interest of transparency, a buddy of mine is the co-founder of it, but it's a wonderful direct mail service. And there's a couple of different reasons I like to use it. Number one, it's super easy to use, like StreetText. And number two, you can do, they have like 14 or 15 different styles of handwritten font. So it feels more personalized. And it's affordable. So
Brandon, talk to us.
I love it.
Absolutely. So I have one example up here. So let me just share that with you here. Let me hide that there. So here's an example of a split test. 3 ads, image is the same, text copy is the same, everything about the ad is the same, minus the audience. So let's look at this first one. You can see here, we have a $5.29 cost per email. You can see that here, $5.29 lead cost. We go up to the next one here. No one came in. We got no clicks. We spent $17.67. We don't have a single lead here at all. So if you launch one ad and this is the audience you landed on, well, very quickly you're going to say, this doesn't get leads, this doesn't work. Well, let's move up to this last ad of the split test. Right here, we have a $2.74 email. That's much better than nothing, and it's much better than $5.29. You're going to receive roughly 2 times the emails and leads compared to this one. So when you look at this one's killing it. $2.74 lead cost. Okay, this is in Florida. And so, yeah, imagery is important. And that's the other thing is to keep in mind is if you launch an ad that's just like a single home or like a blue home or a buy level, if someone doesn't like that style of ad, they're not going to click on your ad. You need something that's going to resonate with someone. If that's a monument or if that's a building, for example, in Toronto, you could use the CN Tower. There's tons of options to use that image that's going to resonate with someone compared to, just a plain old house. I mean, obviously, if you're doing a listing ad, then you'd want to show that home, maybe an interior, exterior, and maybe the backyard image and throw that into Canva and just throw that into your ad. But just on a typical, buyer home, I recommend using imagery that's relatable. But yeah, this is the power of the split test right there. 3 ads, everything.
And you don't have to know how to do anything other than you click a button twice.
And that's what I
Boom,
was
boom.
just about to say, is that it's
Yeah.
a plug and play sort of thing, right? I mean, you
Yep.
don't have to do anything. And then
I'll
the
walk
beauty
you.
of this, and then the beauty of this is that it goes straight into your CRM, which is, StreetText CRM, correct?
Yeah,
There you go.
absolutely. And here's an example. Like, I'll just show you how easy this is to launch. I had someone come in trial, and this was a few months ago, and we got through this step. We launched got to the very ending, and we changed up the button to go to the launch 3 split test. And she's like, "Is that it?" And I said,
Yeah.
"You launched 3 ads just like that." And she's like, "I have spent hours trying to launch 1 ad. You just launched 3 in a matter of 30 seconds. It's really that easy." You put in the home emojis, because if you put in a city here, for example, where we are, well, 25 kilometers in Canada, 15 miles in the States, that goes way outside of Kelowna. I'm into Peachland, Summerland, Lake Country. So we don't want to recommend putting in a city in there. So you just use the home emojis. You go next, pulls in your privacy policy. You drop a pin for where you're targeting. So I'm just going to use my location for easy Kelowna. And always use the drop a pin feature, because it actually gets you to bring up the map, and you can move this around, whatever is ideal for you. Once you're happy, you hit done, go to the next stage, change your budget, whatever that is, always up this to 3. There you go. You can launch Facebook, Instagram, and then boom, hit deploy, and you just launched 3 ads in a matter of 30 seconds.
Two things I'll point out. If that seemed too hard for you, they'll even help you with that. Your coach will help you with that, right? Like, if that was even too technical for you, they will help you do that. And number 2, that example, that 12 seller tips ad, I just figured I'd share. So one of the guys in my organization, his name is Shay. Actually, let me give a disclaimer. I am in no way, shape, or form, by me telling you these numbers, do I guarantee or in any way or promise that you're going to get similar results, right? Like,
Yes.
this is for informational purposes only. But he spent $400 on that ad. He was getting leads at $2 or $3 a lead. Okay. So seller leads for $2 or $3 per lead. And he had, in, I think it was a 4 or 5, 6 week window, had gotten 2 listings, one of which also had to buy 36,000 in potential GCI from $400, right? So, like, again, you can't even, like, if you look at it from an investment standpoint, it's ludicrous, right? Like, Warren Buffett is the greatest investor of all time, and he gets like a fraction of the kind of return that 400 into 36,000 equals, right? But you got to do the work, and you got to be patient, and you got to follow up, right? It's not going to happen magically.
Exactly. And it is online leads after all. So you got to put your systems in place. You got to do the follow-ups, you got to do the nurture, you got to do the calling, and you got to be consistent. I hear so many people saying that these online leads are not working. Well, what are you doing to work towards it to really make it happen, right, Josh?
Yeah, and some of that is because it could just be proper expectation.
Mm-hmm.
You just may not understand what is a normal expectation for what you should be getting from them, right? If you generate 5 and none of them turn into a transaction, well, you probably have the wrong expectations. Exactly. Now, you could generate 5 and 2 of them turn into a transaction, right? But like, if you're basing it off of small numbers or a small window of time, you're gambling, right? That's not what this is about. This is about investing strategically to build your business. Exactly. Right? This is a strategic long-term play. Mm-hmm. And what you want to do is make sure that you've got things in place to ensure that you catch the low-hanging fruit, right? Because if you generate enough, there are going to be some that are ready, willing, and able now. You want to catch that low-hanging fruit, but where the money is, where like the gold is the longer term. Exactly.
So another thing also with StreetText, on the sell side, it's different. Getting the listings, all of that is great. Now, also on the buy side, I have got some great, return on that. All I do is buyer ads, and we've seen phenomenal results. In fact, in August, we closed 14 transactions, September 7, and October and November looks like close to 15 to 20 is what, only from StreetText. Okay, I have to get more funneled into the numbers this afternoon. But the reason I'm sharing these results with you is all from from the buyer ads that I'm running. Okay, it's not even the listing side of it. I like to look at the buyer ad and see the performance on that. And now think about the ROI right there, right? I mean, it's totally different in California. Numbers speak volume, and that is just something I wanted to share with you guys as well, who's out there, that it's not, we're not trying to say that, you know, this is easy work, right, Josh? I mean, again, follow-up systems are important to put in place.
Yeah, you have to
I
do the
think
work,
one
right?
of the-
It's not magic.
No.
Go ahead, Ira, sorry.
Yeah. No, one of the things I asked the two of you, and because I think this is a pitfall people fall into, is, you know, we're heading into the holidays. So I know the answer to this,
yeah.
but Josh and Jenky, are you going to be stopping all of your Facebook ads? Like,
No
because
way.
people aren't going to be as engaged. Like, I think that's one of the keys as you head into the holidays. People are going to put the brakes on because we're not going to see the transactions. We're not going to see the big checks. We're not going to see the reward. So we put the brake on, and then we sit like Josh did a year later saying, one of my campaigns that happened a year ago is the one that generated this bulk of sales. So as we head to the holidays to prepare for like the next year, like what are, like Josh and like, I know both of you, like what are you doing to prepare for the next year in comparison?
I'm in fact increasing, right? I'm putting more money towards it during the holiday season because people will keep an eye on it. People are going to go on Facebook. People are going to look at your ads. They're not going to pull the trigger maybe in the holiday, during the holiday season. We don't know, but here it's been totally different. But Josh, tell us, what are you going to stop?
I mean, long sales cycle, right? Long sales cycle. The work you put in today, you don't see fruition for 90, 100, 120, 180 days. So if you want to start 2020 off with a bang, it starts right now. How do you do that? You fill your pipeline. If anything, you should double down. You should be finding every possible way to get even more people into the pipeline so that when the busy season hits, you're going to have just business flying at you that you don't even, you're going to have to bring on an assistant director of ops like Jenky to handle all of it, right? The absolute worst thing you can do is nothing, right? Like that will ensure that the first quarter of 2020 will have you scrambling, frustrated, and wondering if you need to change your career, right? Like so I would find any means possible to double down, to increase, right? And the other reason why is your competition is probably not going to, right? So that's your opportunity to take their market share while they're just chilling out, for the holidays. Like Jackie said, you may not have people ready, willing, and able right then, though there is still always a certain percentage of people that are going to do business that need to buy or sell today. Like there's always going to be, it might be lower during this last quarter than the first or second quarter of each year, but there's still going to be some that will, and you're going to be building out that pipeline so that January, February, March, you are hitting the ground running. You've got things in escrow. You're setting yourself up to win early. And I think, just as a general success principle, like the earlier in the day, the week, the month, the year, you can create momentum, the more you're setting yourself up for future success, right? What most, I think we're terrible in our industry of like, you wait until things get really bad and then the urgency, right? Like then you get the urgency. No. Be urgent now. Like right now, 2022 starts today, right? Today, do the work today to make 2022 your best year ever. Sorry, go ahead, Jane.
So here's, and I'm itching to say this, is that here's what we've done. We've got 15 in the pipeline just for the lenders. For the lender, it's called the lender pipeline that we have, that the lender is pre-approving now to get us ready for the spring season. So we've almost, that's 15 as of today, this morning. That's the numbers I got from my director of ops this morning. And of course, we have at least 20 in the pipeline to talk to me as phone appointments. So where are all those people going to go? Eventually, all of those are going in the spring market or, even early January, February market, right? So that's what I'm trying to say, is that StreetText, the way you can look at StreetText is two ways. One, if you want your return of investment to work for you compared to other, systems out there, this is the time. And yes, I know there's a lot of questions out there. What is my monthly? I don't have my monthly, but I can tell you my daily. And I think Ira has put that out there as well. But it's not about like, what are your dailies? What are your monthlies? All of that numbers don't matter. What matters is, what are your follow-up systems looking like? What is it that you're doing once a lead comes in? And Josh, you and I can go on another webinar with that, because I think that would be really informative to help.
Also, that question specific to you, your business is different than the person asking that question,
Exactly.
right? So it's like, you need to find out based upon your market, your average commission, and what you're trying to do, right? Like Janky's talking crazy numbers.
Yeah.
But maybe to some, those are low numbers that are watching, and maybe to others, they're crazy high. It's all relative, right? So it's about what numbers do you want to hit? Are you trying to go from 1 to 2 transactions a month? Are you trying to go from 1 to 2 transactions a week?
Right.
What are you trying to do? And then using math to reverse engineer how to make that happen, or to at least create a plan or a starting place to make that happen. Does it mean you're going to get it right out of the gate the first time? No, but again, long game process.
Exactly.
Got to start somewhere.
And here's the thing with StreetText, it's not just like, some people have luck right the next day. I didn't. When I started, I waited 2 months and I was so fed up of it, I wanted to quit. Lucky for my amazing coach, Marcus, that said, no, you're going to play it. Let's do this, and here I am. I don't know how many deals later, but that's the whole thing about StreetText is, once something is working for you, set it and leave it alone. Don't keep messing around with those ads. That's my analogy.
I think one of the biggest things out of the two of you, what you're saying is like, what we can become guilty of is we can become hoarders. Yeah. What is a hoarder? A hoarder is somebody who gets addicted to ad performance and collecting leads, but doesn't get addicted to the process and the follow-up that generates the conversion. Right. And that's the key, is if you're spending a budget like Janky's spending, and you don't have a team like Janky does to follow up with those leads, you're wasting money, because the leads coming in and then they're not going anywhere, because a lead that asks for something and you don't deliver on value is somebody you've lost a relationship or trust with. It doesn't matter if you have billboards all over town, if they run into you, if they see your face, you never built a relationship with them. So our advice here is like, we often tell people, this ad is kicking butt. I had somebody yesterday who her ad is getting 69-cent leads. 69-cent leads. In a week, she has 100 and something leads. She's completely overwhelmed. And I said, we need to turn your ads off. You need to get automation and process in place. We need to lower your budget so that you can keep up with those leads, because those leads are no good to you if you have no follow-up plan behind them. So that's the key. We set up trial frequently with people, and we say, trial is to prove to you that this works. Trial is to show you it in action. You can see how easy it is to launch the ad. But membership is about turning your ads off, getting a process and an automation and a plan in place, learning from our community, and layering your successes over time to have great success with it. So that's key. And that's what we can do with you in trial. In terms of, if you're wondering about budget, we generally say $9 a day for most people in most markets. But if you're in California like Janky, you're going to have to up that budget a day in order to get leads. If you're in like somewhere like Josh's, a rural place, you can get away with a lower ad budget and collect leads, but your commission matches that.
Right. And Josh, here's another question for you. I wanted to find out from you, what, like, as you are leveraging, as you are scaling, and I know people are asking, how do we scale? And this is about Josh. Josh, tell us, how do you scale your business? Like, are you doing what I do? Is I have a team of ISAs. What does that look like once the lead comes in?
Yeah, well, so I think about scaling in two ways: technology and people, right? So technology and people. And so I'm constantly looking at, and the other lens, technology and people, the other lens is automate, delegate, or eliminate, right? Automate, delegate, or eliminate. And so I have hired on an ISA, somebody that I got from the StreetText Insider Group, a recommendation in there. And they've been on board for, I guess, 6-8 weeks, right? So that was a part of a process, right? I didn't like immediately do that.
Yeah.
It was as things evolve and as I have more people in the pipeline and just more opportunities coming my way, I need to focus and free up as much of my time for the highest dollar producing activities, right? So
Exactly.
if you can hire technology or people
Right.
cheaper than what the time and energy you would invest, then that's a good investment, right? So if the
Exactly.
technology or the people are cheaper than the value of an hour or X amount of your time,
Right.
that's,
And
you
it
know,
goes back to working on your business. You as the rainmaker should be working, and I preach this even on our masterminds, is that you have to work on your business instead of in your business. Your in your business can be delegated, leveraged out to your admins and your ISA teams and all of that good stuff. Of course, it takes time. When I first started, when Josh first started, we didn't have this, right? We didn't have this game plan of, okay, I'm going to put in these type of people that are going to be delegating. We learned, and we went to the masterminds and we learned from that, and we learned from our coaches to where we need to be. And that's how we expanded what we have today.
yeah. And so I'm at a point, just, you know, so you can see the sort of the timeline or path here. Janky is ahead of me. She has hired and brought on more than me. My biggest bottleneck right now is I need more agents. I can generate the appointments. I can get I can get the clients. I don't have time to service them, in part because I have 4 kids. I also have an organization that I support and so forth. And so a lot of my time and energy right now is focused on bringing in more buyer's agents to my local team. And when that happens, when I have more of that in place, then I'll be able to scale up my ads as well. It goes back to something Ira was saying. Like, I don't want to have waste. Like, yeah, I can generate 30, 40, 50 leads a day in reality, but what would the point be if I can't service that right now? And so again, it goes back to process, right? You can't, it takes time. And you know, as much as, you know, we live in a society and culture of like instant gratification. If you could be the opposite of that and just slowly get better every day, right? Look at getting better every day. Where can I leverage better? Who can I bring on? What technology can I use? And the better you can do that, and just stick with the process,
Right.
follow best practices. You know, you can't even imagine how different your life and business can be in 12 months, right? But we want that to happen in 12 days. It just doesn't work that way, right?
So
that lottery mentality versus, you know.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. So many of us have that deep personality, like I want it now.
Yeah.
Well, it takes time. Sorry about that, but it does take time. You have to follow the process to make it happen.
Yeah.
Brandon?
Yeah, I was just going to hop onto that. Like, I've been learning about, like, reading this book, and they're talking about this assess phase. You got to look at it from their point of view. If you're going to a shop, you know, say you're going to the grocery store and you're looking at almond milk, well, you're going to grab the almond milk and see maybe the calories on this one and this one. But when you're helping someone's looking to buy a home or sell a home, that's a big process. That's a big thing that someone's going to be going through. So that assess phase isn't a few minutes. This could be months. This could be, you know, years. But how you provide that relationship and that value, and, you know, providing them information that they're asking for. If they're asking for information about, you know, whatever it is, taxes, if they're asking for information about what their home is worth in this current market, whatever you can do, you can provide that for them and provide them value. But just know that you're not going to get that gratification every time right off the bat. You got to follow up with them and let them like understand that mindset of, okay, these people, they came through my ad. This is the top of funnel. They're just interested. They aren't looking for your services. So that assess phase is a total different than just going to a grocery store and looking for almond milk or whatever you're doing. You got to come at it with a different type of mindset. And
that mindset, I think, is coming from contribution, correct? Give them what they want, and then, you know, ask for something in return. Build that relationship. Those are things that we obviously talk about in our masterminds. Well, I do want to talk a little bit about the StreetText link that is right there, you guys. Please click on that link for your 7-day free trial. And of course, this is being recorded, YouTube channel, Lab Coat Agents. Please subscribe to us there. You'll get some great information about all these different programs that we bring to you, all these different webinars we bring to you full of knowledge. If you can take one thing out from here, if there's one tip, Josh, that you can share with everyone, what would that 1 to 2 tips be?
Well, I think this is a perfect place. I want to tie in something that hit me when Ira was talking about lead quantity, and then Brandon used the word people. And this seems extremely obvious, but the people that come into the people that fill out the form, enter their information, that they are people, right? I know we call them, we talk to them, we refer to them as leads, but the reality is they're a real person, right? They have a family, they have kids, they have their, social media, etc. And if you can change the way that you view them as not a number, but a person, right? And think about and obsess about, how can I connect with as many of these people as possible? Because even if they're not going to buy or sell a house in the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months, they know somebody who's going to. And if you were the one that was just treating them like a lead, they're not going to refer you. But if you make them feel special, if you create a connection with them, they will go out of their way to find the people that are looking to buy or sell, in the near future. And the other way I would look at it too is if you're analytical, right, and you're not like the way I described that maybe didn't emotionally connect with you. Think about the value of every one of them, right? If to your business, like the financial value to your business. So if you can generate 100 leads at $5 a lead, that's 500 leads. Well, I can tell you, we're doing this a long time, at least 1 to 2 of them are going to close on a transaction in the next 90 days.
Exactly.
And then you got another 7 to 12 of them probably in 6 to 12 months, right? But let's just take the 1 to 2. And if you know that, and let's be real conservative, one of them, and we're not going to use Janky's average home price because hers is ridiculous. But let's say one of those 100 leads that cost you $500, one of them turns into a $5,000 net commission to you, right? Well, that effectively means that now every one of those leads, people are actually, they're not worth $5 to your business. That's what you paid for them. The value to your business is they're worth $50 to your business, right? And so just changing your mindset and perspective about the people coming in, which one of the nice things is, with the lead ads, there's a name with every lead, right? That helps create a connection, right? When you see a person's actual name, I think that makes it easier to realize, that's a person in my market who's interested in this, right? They want to know, how to avoid the 12 mistakes when selling your home, things of that nature. So I think it goes back to perspective, long game, and building connection and contribution, like you said, providing value and making good on promises. If you're promising to give them this thing, you better give them that thing and a lot more, right? In value. Yeah.
Exactly. Give them a lot more. Exactly. And this is what I say, even when we train our ISAs, we say that is that you have to come from a people perspective. You got to make the conversation not scripted, but you have to have a flow of, hey, how are you? Blah, 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 whatever it is, right? Flow of conversation. What are you talking? What are you saying to them? They're not just a lead number. They are a human back there, and they're looking to kind of tap your brain and say, hey, I just want these questions to be answered. If you humanize the conversation, then of course you're seeing a long-term connection and long-term relationship built. Even if they're not looking right now, they can refer you to a couple of other people. And I think that is so pivotal, so important to understand about going back to StreetText and how we are building our businesses through this company.
Yeah, I think it's very important to be relationship based and not transaction based. I've gone into people's accounts and we have like Julie, which is our AI, and like people will be like, oh yeah, I have a pool, I have 10 acres and I just updated my kitchen. well, I've seen in there, the first response that the agent gave back was, awesome, when are you looking to sell? Well, if that's the first question you ask, you're going to be ghosted. You need to come from that asking more questions. What do you love about your current home? What
or simply ask, that's awesome, thanks for the information, just curious, what prompted you
to our site?
What prompted you to site, or what made you request the free home valuation? Like, what's the reason for it, right? And they may then offer, oh, we're thinking about selling in the next 3 months. But if you say, when are you looking to sell? That's like, get away.
Give them a possible one-page CMA. Give them, I mean, and like I said, Josh, you and I and StreetText can go on and on about what we can do for them, value added piece, but give them something for them to come back to you over and over again. And we're top of the hour, gentlemen. Thank you so much for your precious time. I appreciate each one of you. Any last words you have to say? Forever, or say it now, forever hold your peace. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I think double down 100,000% on what we're saying here is just put it in context. If you're meeting people on Facebook, you interrupted them in their leisurely scroll on their Facebook page. They were the dad sitting on the couch while their 4 kids were running around, and they were scrolling, and they clicked on your ad because something triggered, they wanted value. Your job is now to figure out why. Why did that person click? And if you could deliver on that person's why in a way that just says, like, I'm here for you, people get disappointed when they find out, well, this house just sold. Like, this person's putting this in because the house just sold. And like, I'm not going to waste my time on this. Right. Where the agent that has the right mindset knows that that person knows 50 other people in town, and who knows how that experience went. So instead of going, this house just sold, this sucks, they go, hey, they probably moved in and they're having questions about what the value of it. I would too. Right. I'm an expert. I'm going to serve them and see where this goes, even if I don't get anything right away out of it. It's just being human to human. You want to grow your business, make Facebook more human at the end of the day.
Yeah, and build and make friends. First of all, build friendships instead of just going and diving in and asking those questions. And again, thank you so much, Josh. We got to do this again. This is
absolutely, awesome. Absolutely. Hey, one last thing I'll say, because I think what Ira was saying prompted me on this. If you literally financially can't afford to double down, financially speaking, then double down the effort that you put in to create the connections with the people that are already in your database or the ones who come through. Send 5, 10, 15 personal video messages every day, so that you're building a fence around those people that ensures that when they are ready to sell, they don't go to somebody else. So there's something you can double down in more ways than simply saying, I'm gonna spend double the amount of money on Facebook ads. That's one way, and it could be the best way for you. Or it might mean you've got a database already and you need to double down on creating that connection with them because you haven't done it yet, or you haven't done a good enough job of it yet.
Right. Either send an email, a bomb video, or if you have their address and their address only, send out a note card saying, thank you for visiting our website. I'm here to help. Put your business card in there and call it a day, right? 5 note cards. It's what you do daily that'll make a difference in the long-term goal that you might have here, to being productive. Awesome, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.